we now present Dad and Dave, a human story of two typical Australians, their families, their lives, their hopes, their doubts, their fears and their triumphs. The characters of Dad and Dave represent all that is sturdy, honest and resourceful in the great Australian outback. You'll laugh with them, you will sympathize with them, and perhaps their troubles may in some way remind you of your own, and perhaps their courage will inspire you. Now let us visit the homestead in Snake Gully, just off the road to Gundagai. It is a typical Australian homestead. There's a veranda running almost right round the house. In front of the house are a few trees and a small, well-kept garden.
Go away, Dave. Can't you see Mabel's telling my fortune?
Oh, telling your fortune, is she? Well, does she have to hold your hand like that?
I'll take no notice of him, Mabel. Go on telling me fortune.
Well, you'll have good luck towards the end of the year, and you'll get a letter with money in it.
Did you hear that, Dave? Someone is going to send me some money.
I'd be sending you money. Oh, that's silly.
It's not silly. I can see it here in Dad's hand.
Well, I don't believe in fortune-telling.
Now, don't interrupt us. Go and sit with your mother.
Mum wants to go to sleep for a while.
Well, you let Mabel keep on telling me fortune. Go on, Mabel.
Well, you're getting quite a lot of money towards the end of the year.
Oh, how can you tell that from looking at his hand?
Well, I've studied fortune-telling. I've got a book about it. Herb Wilson gave it to me.
There you go, mentioning Herb Wilson's name again. I suppose you've thrown away all the presents I gave you.
No, I haven't. And I can't tell fortunes if you're going to talk all the time.
I wish you'd keep quiet, Dave. You don't have to make a nuisance of yourself. Go on, Mabel, go on. Keep telling me fortune.
Well, oh, yes, I can see it quite plainly here. There's a letter coming across the water, and there's money in that letter.
Now, I wonder who that'd be from. I've got a cousin in England who's in business there. He might leave me all his money.
Oh, why should he leave you his money? He's got a wife and kids.
Well, you never know what people will do, and it says so in me hand anyway.
Well, I don't believe it.
Well, I do. Now, go on, Mabel. Tell me some more.
All right, Dad. Well, I see a journey here, and a dark woman.
Yes, that'll be Mum. Maybe I'd better go down to the city with her.
Oh, you know, you can't get away just at present. There's too much to do on the farm.
That's true, and we've got to mend that milking machine, too. We'll do that as soon as your mother goes. The doctor says she'll be well enough to travel next week. Is there anything else in me hand, Mabel?
Well, I'm looking at your family line. Oh, I can see a bit of trouble here with a tall man.
Oh, that'll be Dave.
Oh, I don't cause you any trouble. Anyhow, how can she tell that sort of thing from looking at your hand? She's only making it up.
Well, how dare you say that, Dave? I'm not making it up. I read all about it in the book that Herb Wilson gave
Oh,
me.
for goodness sake, stop talking about Herb Wilson.
Oh, what makes you so bad-tempered, Dave? The girl can't open her mouth. You seem to forget that she's done us a favor by coming over here. And what did I tell you about being polite to her?
Oh, yes, I forgot about that. Well, I'm very sorry, Mabel. I won't offend again.
Oh, that's all right, Dave.
Oh, don't mention it. And do you mind if I sit here?
I don't care where you sit.
Take no notice of him, Mabel. Now, can you see anything more in me hand?
Yes, wait a minute now. Oh, you're going to do quite a lot of hard work with your hands in the near future.
I'm going to mend the milking machine.
Oh.
There's no doubt about you, Mabel. You're marvelous. Did you hear that, Dad? She could see in me hand that I was going to mend the milking machine.
Oh, well, I don't think much of that. I'll do most of the mending when we start on the milking machine.
Oh, no, you won't. You couldn't put it together properly last time.
Well, I'd have been all right if you hadn't told me the wrong thing.
I did not tell you the wrong thing. You took it to pieces, and you should have known how to put it together. You keep your hands off it this time, and just hold screws for me while I take it to pieces. Anyway, I'm very dissatisfied with that milking machine. We've had nothing but trouble with it ever since we've had it.
Well, I told you not to get that sort of machine. Ted Ramsey has got a much better one. If we'd have got the same sort as he's got, we wouldn't have any trouble.
Oh, I knew what I was doing. That thing Ramsey's got is always breaking down.
Yes, and so is ours.
Oh, you should see the bond the new milking machine they've got over at Herb.
Don't say it, Mabel. Don't say it. We know Herb Wilson has got better things than anyone else in Snake Gully.
Oh, pipe down, Dave, and let Mabel get on with telling me fortune. We don't have to talk about the milking machine now.
Well, who started talking about it?
Just ignore him and talk to me. Now, what else can you see in me hand, Mabel?
Well, there isn't much else there, Dad, except that you're going to have very good luck.
Good luck. Oh, that's good. Well, thanks for telling me fortune,
That's
Mabel.
all right.
The point is, there ain't a penny coming in. I puts an advertisement in the paper to get a day's washing. I spent me last 2 shillings on that.
Excuse me, Mrs. Hobbs, it was my 2 shillings, remember, that I took out of the electric light money to lend you.
Well, when you lent it to me, it was mine, wasn't it? And it was me last 2 shillings what I spent on the advertisement. There's the advertisement there. As I said to you before, a better writ advertisement never went in the paper.
No.
There it is. Woman, refined, respectable, married, ladies' college edification, once washing bed. There is the advertisement exact as it was in the paper. And how many answers do I get?
None.
1.
I
I got a letter this morning offering me 10 shillings for a day's washing.
can't say, Mrs. Hobbs. Well, that's good, ain't it? I hope you don't forget you said you'd give me the 2 shillings back out of the first day's washing you got. It'll have to go back in the electric light money, Mrs.
If
Hobbs.
you'd stop talking for a minute and let me finish, Mrs. Bottomley.
Well, I'm sorry, Mrs. Hobbs.
The letter I got today offering me a day's washing, well, I'll read it to you.
All right, Mrs. Hobbs, that's very good of
Well,
you.
here it is. Mrs. Hobbs, dear madam, read your advertisement in the paper. I am prepared to pay you 10 shillings for your services for a day, if I consider you suitable. Please call at above address with references as to character, etc.
She don't want much, does she, Mrs. Hobbs?
Point is, I makes 10 shillings.
Yes, there's that about it, of course. As I was saying before, Mrs. Hobbs, you promised me that you'd give me back the second 2 shillings I lent you out of the first day's work that you got.
I said you'd get it back, didn't I?
Yes, out of the first day's washing you got. You know, I took it out of the electric light money, Mrs. Hobbs.
I knows, and you'll get it back to put back in the electric light money.
Well, I hope so, Mrs. Hobbs. I always have bad luck with the electric light money somehow. If I don't have to use it for something or other, my Bottomley finds it.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do then, if you likes. I'll keep this 2 shillings.
Oh?
I'll keep it for you. And then anything else you gets to put towards it, you can give it to me, see? And then, when the electric light bill comes, I'll give it all to you. It'll be more safer me keeping it for you. There ain't no chance of you or Bottomley finding it fit.
Oh, I don't know, Mrs. Hobbs, so I don't think you find the hiding place I got now.
Well, leaving it with me would be just like putting it in the bank.
In the bank, Mrs. Hobbs?
More safer, in fact, because banks gets robbed. You better do that, Mrs. Bottomley, for your own sake.
Elsie, what's this competition Mama says you're going in for?
Oh, I'm entering the Bachelor Girl competition.
You might be a bachelor else, but you're no girl.
Miss Bachelor Girl, I'll be.
Yeah.
You'll be jealous when the judge puts the ribbon round me and all the people watching.
It'll be worth watching too, else getting a ribbon over these hips.
I got all the papers, Ide. All I have to do is to answer the questions and then put me form in the letterbox.
Don't be silly, you couldn't get your form in a horse box.
Ida, you should see the questions.
Show me.
Look.
Height, birth, weight.
Oh, yes, I mustn't forget to weigh myself tomorrow.
Oh, no, not tomorrow, else. The weighbridge is closed on Wednesday.
Oh, what?
Oh, all right. Look at the time,
Oh,
Else.
say.
We must find that certificate.
Oh,
Mama's got
it's
the lunch
such a
all week.
romantic hunt.
No,
Oh,
but
look, here's that bangle that man gave you.
Oh, yes, my only proposal. I sometimes wonder if I did the right thing in not accepting.
Oh, but Aid, you wouldn't have liked living in a grass hut.
No, I suppose I wouldn't.
Oh, look, Aid.
Oh, don't, Elsa. We mustn't waste any more time. Mama's calling.
Yes, but look, this is a group of wee girls at school, all in our school uniform.
Oh, yes, I can't help looking at that. There's the matron with her whistle.
Yes, and there's the warden with his whip.
never forget the day we escaped. That was the day, wasn't it? Oh, Elsie, the certificate.
Yeah.
See if there are any papers over there in that box.
Oh, look, one of my
Tom?
lovely old mesh stockings. Now, I wonder where the mate of it's in.
Oh, Elsie, you can't have pea soup and mesh stockings too.
All right, here's a bundle of
Oh,
papers.
good.
Here it is, Ide. It's a government form.
Show me.
There you
Oh, no, Elsie, that's Dad's pardon.
I've got it, I've got it. Here it is. Look, it says certificate. All
Yes.
my details on it. Waist 49, hips 56.
Show me.
There.
Oh, Elsie, they don't put your waist measurement in your birth certificate.
Birth certificate? I thought you said girth certificate.
The Commonwealth Savings Bank of Australia, the bank for all the family, takes pleasure in presenting the show for all the family, Night with Dexter. Young Ashley Dutton is like most boys his age. He shows very little fear. He's not frightened of speed, heights, getting lost, school teachers, or deep waters. He's not shy with his parents, aunts and uncles, strange adults, and even babies. But oh, brother, is he both frightened of and shy with girls. Well, it was one evening a few weeks ago when Ashley said goodnight to his family and went up to bed.
Good night, Dad.
Night, son.
Good night, Mum.
Good night, Ashley.
Good night, Compost. Pleasant nightmares, Death Adder.
Ashley, don't you think it'd be nice once in a while if you kissed your sister goodnight?
What? Get some horrible complaint? Not likely. Don't worry, brother dear. I wouldn't kiss you if you're the last boy alive. If I were the last boy alive, you'd be dead, 'cause you'd have nothing to live for.
Why, you...
Good night, son, and don't forget to clean your teeth well.
No, Dad. You know, sometimes I wish I had Uncle Harry's teeth so I could just stick him in a glass of water.
Dexter, now that he's gone up to bed, there's something I want to talk to you about.
Don't tell me he smashed Mrs. Murphy's window again.
Oh, no, not today. It's about his school dance next Saturday. Now, Ethel Moss told me every boy in the school is obliged to attend, but Ashley hasn't mentioned a word of it to me.
Well, maybe he takes it for granted. We just know he's going.
Oh, no. You know, I believe he's purposely avoiding mentioning anything about the dance.
If you ask me, he has no intention of going.
Well, he has to go. I only wish he'd discussed these things with his family. I wonder who he's taking.
Taking?
Taking?
That's what I said, taking. The boy can't go to a school dance by himself.
I don't know. The only company Ashley's likely to take is a large green frog in his coat pocket.
Yes, Horace, that's what he'll take. And his blue-tongued lizard in the other pocket.
Oh, you're both talking absolute nonsense. My son will be going to the school dance like any other boy, with a girl.
A girl?
Yes, Dexter. You know what a girl is. That's one of those things you turn round and stare at when you think I'm not watching.
Well,
Eat your breakfast, Ashley, or you'll be late for school.
I'm not hungry.
Son, if you're not hungry, you must be sickening for something.
No, I wish I was.
You wish you were.
I wish I was, were, and would. There's nothing I'd like better this week than have a slight case of smallpox.
Ashley, don't speak like that. What's eating you anyway?
Oh, nothing. I'll bet I know what's the matter. You know nothing and never did. School dance, dear old golden rule dance. Oh, go put your head in a bucket, Compost.
Oh, Ashley. Look, you are going to the dance on Saturday, are you not?
I am not. But you have to. Every boy in your school is compelled to go.
That's what we understand, son.
Well, they can't compel a boy to go with 2 broken arms and a sprained ankle.
But you haven't got 2 broken arms and a sprained ankle.
Yeah, just wait till I jump off the roof this afternoon.
Ashley, don't talk such rubbish. Certainly you're going to the dance. I'll clean and press your blue suit today.
Oh, do that, Mum, and then hang it up till I'm best man at Janie's wedding. I say, I'd better be moving. Bye, Mum. So long, Pop. See you later.
Ashley, you should start getting into practice.
Aren't you going to kiss me goodbye?
Listen, sis, it's bad enough for a bloke to have to kiss a girl without having to kiss a ghoul. So long.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. This is the manager of the Hotel Haywire speaking. I'd just like to tell you the attractions of the Hotel Haywire. Here at the hotel, we overlook the river, we overlook the lake, we overlook the gardens, we overlook...
Then we don't overlook the bill.
That was the hotel bellboy, Ginger, speaking.
Billboy or bellboy?
Bellboy. Ginger, have you changed the water in the goldfish bowl?
Why should I? They haven't drunk the water I gave them yesterday.
What made Roy Reen Moe such a great comedian? It wasn't only his impeccable timing, his technique, and his vocal inflections, it was his human appeal. Because, as he'd say himself, he was one of the mob. And because he was one of the mob loved him. Let's hear him now as a jockey, while I, as a stipendiary steward, question him.
Well, your name is, Moe.
Yes, your worship.
And you're the jockey who rode Sardine in that last race?
Yes, your worship.
Don't call me your worship. I'm the stipendiary steward.
Very well, Stew.
We've summoned you before us to ascertain why your horse Sardine, who has never won a race before, and who started at 100 to 1, managed to beat Burnborough by 25 lengths.
Not bad, was it? Were you on, Stew?
No, I wasn't.
Blimey, no wonder you're doing your block.
Shut up! You've been a jockey for 6 weeks. In that time, how many horses have you ridden?
6. 2 at Bramwick, 2 at Rose Hill, and 2 at Harold Park.
Harold Park? At Harold Park they raced dogs.
Brandy, no wonder me legs trailed.
Have you ever ridden a horse at Canterbury Park?
No, but I've been on a few at Luna Park.
You've ridden half a dozen horses, but you've never ridden a winner.
Oh, yes, I have.
Oh, no, you haven't.
Oh, yes, I have.
What?
Sardines this afternoon.
Oh, and that's what this inquiry is about. How is it that you managed to win this afternoon on a rank outsider like Sardine?
I don't know. It's got me tricked, too. I bet Burnborough.
You what?
Look, as true as life, I bet Burnborough. I had set its way at 3 to 1 off.
Well, that's terrible.
I know. I should have got evens.
But don't you know that jockeys don't bet?
Eh?
Under the Racing Rules and Regulations, page 77, subsection A, paragraph 3, a jockey is forbidden to make a bet with a bookmaker.
But I didn't. I have an SP off the course. That's what up against your finishing post.
Order!
Thanks very much. I'll have a beer.
You will not have a beer. Look here, you were accused of administering dope to a horse.
That is a willful and deliberate lie. And it casts reflections on my honesty on both me and my horse.
Well, frankly, we don't believe you.
Frankly, I don't blame you. I mean, I would cover a thing like that, neither would my horse.
So you still say that you're innocent?
I do. Every member of this country, a guilty man is innocent until his innocence is proved to be guilt. His guilt is proved to be innocent, or vice versa.
And you still maintain that your horse Sardine won fairly?
Yes, not only for my sake, but for the sake of my dear old mother.
What's your dear old mother got to do with it?
She had half a dollar each way on.
Oh, very well, very well. Now look, if you are innocent, what is your defense?
Mr. A.J.C. Mr. A.J.C. This is very humiliating to a man of my social standing. I've always tried to do the right thing as a jockey. I started off as a gentleman rider, and I don't want to finish up as a professional lair.
All right, all right. Now the question is, did you or did you not give dope to your horse in order that it might win?
Definitely and defiantly no. Mr. A.J.C. You see before you a man who loves horses. I've always loved horses. Ever since I graduated from the Boys' Reform School. I've never been cruel to a horse. Horses are dumb animals, like dogs and cats and mother-in-laws. And another thing, a horse is a man's best friend, especially when he's on it and it wins at 10 to 1. I wouldn't do anything cruel to a horse, and that's why I never give a horse dope. especially the brand of dope you get these days. And all I can say is, if a horse isn't good enough to win on its own, I've never been cool enough to dope it. That's my case. And I throw myself on your mercy.
Oh, Mo, your sincerity has convinced me.
Oh.
No man with such noble sentiments.
Oh.
Such noble sentiments could ever be cruel to a horse.
Oh.
The charge is dismissed.
Oh.
Yes. And you're free to leave without a stain on your character.
Thank you. And now as a token of my appreciation, I would like you to accept this little keepsake. It's something I made myself, but I'd like you to have it.
Thank you, Mo. What is it?
My riding whip, fitted with my own special electric battery.
Well, thank you very much, June and Joe. And now, ladies and gentlemen of Crow's Feet Junction, it is my pleasure to bring you another dramatic epic by the Bullamakanka Dramatic Players.
3 hideous hellos and a repulsive rah-rah-rah.
Yes. Well, tonight's play, ladies and gentlemen, is a story of the Foreign Legion. And being a story of the Foreign Legion, well, naturally, the action takes place right in
King's Cross.
King's Cross. It does not. It takes place in the desert sands, where the Legionnaires wage their endless war against the enemy. Well, will the actors and actresses please come out on stage now? Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, yeah. Now, I'd just like to warn you, it may be necessary for some of the characters in this play to speak French.
Oh, that'll do me. My heavens, I'm a genius when it comes to talking in French. I went into a cafe the other day and I gave my whole order for the dinner in French.
You ordered the whole dinner in French?
The whole lot of it in French, yes. My heavens, the waiter was astounded.
Why?
Well, it was a Chinese cafe I went to.
George, will you do me a favor? Go and commit chop suicide.
Ooh! You're brilliant tonight. I never suspected you were so smart.
Well, thank you.
You're not as dim as you seem.
The play. Let's get on with the play. Now, Mr. Donovan, where are you? You play the part of the French Legionnaire, Pierre Tremaine.
Yes. Pierre Tremaine. I know his brother.
Who?
The Sydney Tremaine.
I'm warning you. Look, this unseemly levity which you're endeavoring to provoke is conscientiously abhorrent to me.
You'll dive off the end of what?
I won't dive off the end of anything.
Well, just tell your nose and jump in. That's all.
Pierre Tremaine is the French Legionnaire in love with Lily Quill. Now, Lily, you enact the role of Fifi Bonbon.
Fifi Bonbon?
Yes. She's a very gorgeous woman.
She sounds like a cracker.
Lily, you are really an Arabian spy, you see, employed by the Arabs.
Oh, that'll do me. How old am I?
Well, look, it doesn't matter how old you are. It's not important.
Oh, age is very important to men.
Not to me, it's not. Look, if women look young, well, they're young.
That's right.
If they look old, they're old.
Exactly.
And if I look back, I follow them.
My name is Nino Colotta. I am an Italian, and I come from Piedmont in the north of Italy. I am a writer, and one day my editor told me to go to Australia and write about the country and the people. So I did. I came to Australia. I met Australians, and I got to know them, to admire them. But I say to you that they're a weird mob. Excuse me, please. I would like a drink.
Schooner or middy? Here's a change, George.
Excuse me, please. I would like a drink. Some beer, perhaps.
Schooner or middy? They're coming up, Gordon.
I would like a drink of beer, please.
Here's yours, Harry. Schooner or middy?
Hey, how long you been in Australia, mate?
I arrived in Australia today.
Yeah, good for you. Name's Fred.
How do you do, Fred? My name is Nino.
All right, Nino. Now, look, the smaller glasses are middies and the bigger glasses are schooners. Right?
All right. I will have a middy.
Good. She's my shout anyway, mate.
I beg your pardon?
I'm going to shout.
Oh, there is no need to do that. I can hear quite well.
Look, mate. I shout, then you shout.
Yeah, but I do not want to shout. It is noisy enough in here.
If I shout, you got to shout.
Well, then it would be better if you didn't shout. You see, I do not like noise.
Look, sport. When I say I'm going to shout, I don't mean I'm going to shout.
I think I have a headache.
Now, look, hold your horses a minute.
My horses?
Look, take it easy, sport, will you? I'll tell you all about it. It's a custom, see? An Australian custom.
If he's going to talk about poets today, I'll go mad.
Well, good morning, boys.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, boys. Now, look, see if we can't get through this lesson today without the usual nonsense and waste of time.
Well, if it's poetry again, I'll scream.
Yes, now, don't blame me. Botany.
Yeah?
Even if it was poetry, you certainly wouldn't be allowed to scream.
Ah.
But as it happens, we finished with poetry for the time being.
Nice work.
Exactly. Look, there's no need to talk like that. In fact, there's no need to say anything. We've absolutely wasted the last 3 lessons trying to study the poets of the 18th century. But I've at last realized that the subject is quite beyond you.
Oh, gee, sir.
Well, what's the matter with you, Stanford?
Well, I thought you'd be giving us poetry again today, sir.
Oh, did you? Well, I'm not. But what about it? I mean, why are you disappointed?
Well, I've been doing a bit of extra study, sir.
You have?
Yes, sir.
What about?
Shelley, sir.
Shelley?
Yes, sir. You know, who's a poet.
Rubbish. Oh, was he?
No, of course he wasn't.
No, yes he was. Botany.
Yeah?
This has got nothing whatever to do with you, so keep quiet. I'm talking to Stanford.
Well, I thought he was an admiral.
Who, Stanford?
No, I'm not, sir.
Aren't you?
No, I never said he was.
Yes, you did. I mean...
He was in the Great War.
Who was?
Admiral Shelley.
Was he?
No, he wasn't. He was a poet.
Yes, yes, of course he was. Look, what are you talking about, Botany?
Oh, no, I'm wrong.
Yes, I should think you were.
I'm thinking of Admiral Shellicoe.
Of course. Admiral Shellicoe served with distinction in the Great War. But Shelley and Shellicoe... no, wait a minute. Shellicoe wasn't his name at all. It was Jellicoe.
Jellicoe?
Yes, Admiral Jellicoe.
Oh.
Oh, what?
Oh, well, I must have been thinking of 3 other fellas.
Yes, obviously, but at the same time... Botany, will you stop talking nonsense? Shelley was a poet who was born in the 18th century.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
And he never wrote in jocular vein.
No, and this is because... what? What did you say?
I just said he never wrote in jocular vein.
No. Who told you that?
I read that in a book last night, sir.
Oh, well, that's quite right, and I'm very pleased to learn that you've been doing some extra work at home.
Yes, sir.
Right, you're quite right, Stanford. Shelley never wrote in jocular vein.
I don't blame him.
No, but there are people... I beg your pardon?
I just said I don't blame him.
No, why?
Why?
Yes, why?
Well, would you cut your throat just to write poetry?
Certainly. No! Cut your throat? Listen, I'll cut your throat in a minute. What on earth do you think you're talking about?
Well, nobody writes in blood.
In blood? All right, nobody said they did.
Well, what's this jocular vein business?
Jocular vein has got nothing to do with blood.
Aye? It runs down your throat.
What does?
Your jocular vein.
Rubbish. That's your jugular vein. That's jugular. It's got nothing to... Oh, green bottle.
Yeah.
Look, we'll sit down and keep quiet. I'm talking to Botany.
Yeah.
Now, where was I? Oh, yeah. Yes, that word is jugular, not jocular.
Oh, jugular.
Yes.
Yes, you're thinking of my uncle.
Exactly. Greenbottle's uncle is the type of man who... Now, Greenbottle.
Yes?
I know this will be a complete shock to you, and I know you'll be terribly disappointed. But we were not talking about your uncle. We hadn't even thought of him.
Yes, but he's one of the best in the country.
Yes, well, so he might be, but at the same... What? He's one of the best what in the country?
Jugulars.
Jugulars?
Yes, he's a jugular.
Is he?
Yes, he can juggle 3 clubs, 2 umbrellas in a hat.
Listen, will you keep quiet? I don't care if he can juggle 3 tram cars, 2 pianos, and a horse and cart. We don't happen to be talking about jugglers.
But he's a jugular.
He's nothing of the sort. He's not a jugular at all. He's a juggler.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, he can juggle 3 clubs, 2 umbrellas in a hat.
Oh, Fanny, well, that's very, very nice.
Yes.
But it just happens that we weren't discussing your uncle or jugglers. We were talking about the jugular.
And it runs down your throat.
It runs down your throat.
Yeah. Ah, sword swallower.
Exactly, a sword swallower. Now do you understand?
Yeah.
Right. No, sword swallower. What are you talking about?
Yes, well, I get a sword and it runs down their throat.
Oh, does it? Well, look out I don't run down your throat.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything at all about putting swords down the throat.
Aye?
We're talking about the jugular vein, which is one of the large veins in the human body by which the blood is returned from the head to the heart.
Why, sir?
Well, What? Stanford, do you want the stick?
No, sir.
Well, stop asking questions.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, well, my uncle's not a sword swallower.
No, but if he'd only tried... Serves you right, Greenbottle. You've got the most uncanny ability to talk irrelevant rubbish that I've ever experienced.
Yes.
Yes, well, hold your tongue and let's get on with this lesson. That's the finish. Clear out of here, everybody. As far as I can see, I'm not needed in this classroom as a master here at all.
No, sir.
Well, good morning, boys.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, boys.
Dr. Paul. A story of human conflict.
Are you awake, darling?
Yes, Virginia, I'm awake.
I thought you might be. How did you sleep?
No, it was so. And you?
Much the same. What time does the sitting commence, Paul?
At 10.
Are you worried?
Well, I'm not exactly looking forward to it, Virginia.
I wish you'd let me come with you.
No. I'd much rather you didn't.
But why not, Paul? At a time like this, surely it'd help having me there.
It would help me no end, but it's also likely to upset you.
Don't be silly as though that matters.
Well, it does matter. It matters to me. But I don't want you upset.
But, darling, if it'll help you...
Virginia, this is likely to be very nasty. Now, there's no telling what June Ritchie's going to say, and I would much prefer if you stayed well away.
Is it because she's going to claim that Irene Preston is in love with you? Oh, Paul, as though that matters.
Now, you've let talk of Irene Preston and me upset you before.
Of course it upsets me, but I repeat, what does it matter about me? You're the one to be considered today, and you're the one who needs some help and some moral support. And I'd like to be around to give it to you.
Now, look, you stay home with Junior. I'll tell you all about it tonight.
Portia Faces Life. The story of a courageous and beautiful woman.
Mum? I've got something to show you.
Show me?
This watch.
Where did you get that?
It belonged to Aunt Della, didn't it? Isn't it the one she used to wear?
Where did it come from?
Patsy's purse.
Patsy?
Oh, sure. Are you feeling better? Dickie said that you...
I've just been talking to the inspector. He'll be coming in shortly to ask you a few questions.
There's nothing I can add to what
I
Dickie's...
think there is, Patsy.
What do you mean?
Dickie said this came from your purse.
It's my mother's watch. He must...
Where did you get it?
I've had it for years. It was
I want
broken.
the truth, Patsy.
That is the truth. Mother left it.
It may have belonged to your mother at one time. I wouldn't know.
Cattleman. A saga of the outback, specially dramatized from the prize-winning novel of R.S. Porteous. Cattleman.
Mr. McCready? Mr. McCready, are you awake?
Now look, if you brought more of that flaming medicine now, you tell the matron from me I've had enough poison shoved down me throat since they put me in this morgue to wipe out 10,000 head of the best beef north of...
Mr. McCready, please don't take on so. It's not more medicine. You have a visitor.
Who?
Mrs. Arndale, your daughter.
Oh, stop and listen. I'll take the flaming medicine any day. What does she want? Yes, if I didn't know.
You mustn't get excited. The doctor said...
Don't mention that blue nose to me. I heard what he said. And I don't care to be reminded of it.
Mr. McCready...
Oh, stop your babbling, girl. Bring her in. Let's get it over with.
Yes, sir. Would you come in, Mrs. Arndale? Thank you. See you later, Mr. McCready. Ring if you need me.
Yeah.
How are you, Father?
Lousy.
I brought you some flowers.
Stow, not flaming crows. What would I be wanting with flowers? I'm not dead yet, you know.
I thought they'd brighten up the room.
Well, you can just think again. Don't feel like being brightened up. Strike me pink ears, a man lying here dying, and first you turn up with flowers.
I suppose you'd have preferred a bottle of rum. Well, it so happens I asked Dr. Stewart, and he said you were to have no alcoholic liquor under any circumstances.
What would he know, old bag of wind? Doctors and nurses are all the same. Give a man a flaming pip.
Please don't shout, Father. And is it necessary to preface everything you say with that dreadful word?
I can do a lot better than that, me girl.
Yes, I know, but... Father, I want to talk to you.
Well, what do you think you're doing now?
Is it true Charlie Turner paid 4,000 guineas for that new coat he bought you in Sydney?
I was wondering how long it'd take you to work up to that. No, it's not true.
Oh, that's a relief anyway.
I paid 5,000.
What? For a horse you've never even seen?
Charlie's judgment's good enough for me. He's never pulled a boner yet, and he's not likely to start now.
I suppose it hasn't occurred to you how much Gregory and I could have done with even half that amount.
Yeah, it occurred to me right enough. That's why I bought the flaming horse.
Really, Father, you're impossible. We need money badly just now.
I've never known when you didn't. If that husband of yours spent a little more time in his office and a little less at the racetrack, you might
Greg's given up gambling. He hasn't had a bet in months.
Oh, were you kidding? Without him to support him, the bookies would be out of business.
Oh, Father, how can you say such a thing?
I can say it all right, and I can mean it, too. I come by wavering down the hard way, pinching and scraping for every square foot. And I made it the best property in Queensland.
No one's disputing that.
Everything I got, I came by the hard way. But not you, me girl. From the day you was born, you've been choking on a silver spoon. The best education money could buy. And all it did was make you cross-eyed from looking down your nose at your betters.
I know you've never had much time for me,
And
but...
how much have you had for me?
Well,
I'll answer that. If I wasn't worth a few 100,000 quid, you'd have dished me like a dirty rag years ago. I'm not good enough for you and your hoity-toity friends. Never was. I'm just the mug who foots the bills. Well, the chickens are long overdue, me girl. When they come home to roost, you'll have no one to blame but yourself.
Have you quite finished?
I haven't even started. No sense of value, that's your trouble. You backed the wrong horses all along the line. You want to know why? And I'll tell you. It's because your head's so crammed full of lardy, flaming darn notions you couldn't pick black from white. Yeah, if your mother was alive, God...
Let's not bring Mother into this.
Oh, no. The comparison makes you look pretty sick, doesn't it? Finest woman who ever lived, and she's blessed
I've
with
had enough of this. I'm going. I'll come back when you're in a more reasonable frame of mind. Is there anything you want?
I flaming out there is. You tell Jane I want to see her.
She'll be in later.
Ah, there's something I'll never understand. How you and Gregory got around to producing a daughter like Jane. If I've got nothing else to be proud of, at least I've got her.
You're certainly two of a kind, I'll say that. Goodbye, Father, and try to behave yourself. Remember, you're not the only patient in the hospital.
Dossier on Demetrius. A document now gathering dust in a silent room.
In the silent room at the end of the long corridor, Gregory Keene turns the last page of the dossier on Demetrius.
There, in the loft of the crumbling warehouse in Shirley Road, Haydee Bergner died in my arms. Yachty Blum was dead. Tom Cutts had killed him. And in the struggle that took place only 10 minutes before, Demetrius had smashed open the skylight and disappeared into the dark and the fog across the warehouse roof. Demetrius is here somewhere.
Don't worry, he can't get away. Shirley Road sealed off. He could have crossed the roofs to another warehouse. But the streets all round are cordoned, and the docks at each end of Cork Street are closed.
Could he have got onto a ship?
Yes, conceivably. But the river is being patrolled by 3 launches. He can be in one of 3 warehouses, or under the piling of the docks, or hidden on one of only 2 ships.
I see. Well, what's the next move?
I'd like to see you clear off. Leave the rest of it to Frayne and the yard fellows.
Nothing doing. We'll start from here and cover every square inch of the ground. As far as I know, he's unarmed.
Oh, well, we've got to see what's happening down on the waterfront.
I'm safe here for a moment. Men everywhere. They'll soon be down here under the dock with lights. Come out here. Police launches in the stream. We don't swim for it. 2 ships brightly lit, one of them being worked by dockers. Well, why haven't the police stopped work on that ship? That might be our chance. We can smear ourselves with dirt and oil for just long enough. We might become one of those dockers. They work in gangs. They don't know each other. One can't hide. There's nowhere to hide. But one might pass through the cordon with a gang of dockers. One could hide in the open, working the slings under the floodlights. There has to be a way out of here.
All right. Quiet a minute, you fellas. Now we have to face it. Besides ourselves, the only people in our cordoned area are those dockers working over there. Demetrius has slipped through our fingers.
I refuse to believe it, Colonel. He couldn't have gone through the cordons. He couldn't have swum the river with those launches on the job. Demetrius is still right here.
Then he must be the invisible man. We're wasting our time, Keene. 5 hours we've hunted. There's not a cubic foot of space in the area we've not examined. The fellow's gone, vanished.
But he couldn't have.
Well, he's not on the ships, he's not under the docks, so where is he? Come on, Frayne, call the men off. Not a scrap of use fooling ourselves.
Quiet. Listen.
I don't hear anything.
Listen. Do you hear it? Demetrius. He hadn't slipped through our cordon. He was there on the dock working with the gang. He'd whistled that tune of his for the last time. It was too late for him to break the habit now. I walked across the docks, across the cobblestones through the damp and the fog, to face Demetrius. All you men, all but one, stop work and get away from the ship. All of you but one, and he knows which one.
Sir, it didn't come off, Keene.
Stand aside, you men. Get well away from the ship.
Sir, it didn't come off.
No, Scammell, it didn't come off. That's right, back to the side of the ship. Look this way and that. Look behind me. They're closing on you. 20 men. You're cornered here. Out in the open at last, Demetrius.
You won't take me alive, Keene.
Hold him there, Keene. Hold him. Come on, you fellows.
Demetrius turned and ran. I hadn't thrown a knife for 10 years, but I knew I wouldn't miss.
Demetrius ran like a hare for the shadows, and I followed. Ventris and Ridgway were running to head him off.
Head him off, Ridgway!
Then, for a moment, I saw him clear in the light, and with Yachty's knife, I let go. Demetrius! For Haiti! That's how it ended. Demetrius has followed all the rest. 4 hours ago, I came up here to the silent room to close the dossier, to stamp it with the official stamp, to tie it with a few inches of blue and leave it to gather dust. The dossier has been opened for the last time, and now it's closed forever. But here in the room at the end of the long corridor, there are some things I'll never forget.
England to Australia in 13 days. The idea obsessed my mind day and night. The mere wish to fly to Australia in record time rapidly grew into a firm determination. No one had faith in me except myself, and who could blame them? I knew somehow that I could do it, and it was up to me to prove it. But the money, so much was needed. Where could I find hundreds of pounds? After many weary months of fortune hunting, 2 kind-hearted English gentlemen joined hands to help me. My father and Lord Wakefield. Their faith in me can never be repaid. Now the rush begins. It's to be a race to the monsoons. Can I get through before they break? In my diary, May the 5th is ringed in red as the last day on which I can make a start. In breathless haste, I arrange my petrol and oil supplies, maps, tools, and kit. 10 days before I'm due to start, I haven't an aeroplane. Then I'm introduced to Jason, a very ordinary machine, but now a dear and valued friend. In an incredibly short time, he is prepared for his great task. Yet it is May the 5th before he stands waiting for me on the tarmac of Croydon Aerodrome. It is glorious to be off at last, alone and in peace, after the hurry and bustle of those last 3 weeks. Now I have time to think. Where am I bound for today? Vienna. Am I really to see this city of dreams? No, only the aerodrome. Never mind. Flying is my job this trip, not sightseeing. Jason is a dear. He's behaving splendidly. Look how he's weathering this terrible dust storm just outside Baghdad. I'm very frightened, really, but Jason isn't. The different lands flash by. Here we are in India. How proud my Jason was to reach here in 6 days. But alas, his pride was quickly dashed. The monsoons raced us after all. We were very disappointed, but it was no use sitting down to cry. Poor old Jason was so upset that he ran his nose right into a ditch in the wrong field when we were trying to find the race course at Rangoon. That was when we lost our chance of beating the record. It took 10 men and me 2 whole days and nights to put old Jason together again. We cheered up a wee bit when the 3-arched rainbow circled us in the Java Sea. But it wasn't till we actually sighted Australia that we were really happy. Then we just shouted for joy. How will Australia receive us? That's the only time we wondered. Now we know she has taken us to her heart, given us of her best. Such a welcome as will never be forgotten in history, and Jason and I love her so.
Somebody has just asked me how one makes a cricket record, and frankly, I cannot answer this question. You have a bat, the bowler a ball. Each is trying to beat the other. One must know how to play cricket, and this comes mainly as a result of hard practice and experience, whilst one must at all times keep cool and totally disregard all outside influences. Then I am asked if there is any great difference between cricket in Australia and cricket in England. There is, and the biggest difference to my mind is that whereas Australian wickets are very uniform, English wickets vary so much that one seldom finds 2 alike. Also, they are in the main slower, with the ball turning much more. The heavier atmosphere in England, too, has the effect of making the ball swerve a good deal more in the air. There is another very big difference, and that is between playing in a light shirt and playing with an undershirt on, as well as a heavy woolen shirt and 2 sweaters, which has often been my experience in England. Now, another inquirer wants to know what was the most trying cricket experience I have had. In test matches, I would say it was when doing my best to save Australia from defeat in the first of this series of tests at Nottingham in our second innings. But then there were many others nearly as bad, for a cricketer's life is made up of awkward situations. What do I think of the future of cricket? Well, cricket to me seems just typical of the nation. It is the outstanding sport of the British Empire. Every Englishman enjoys his game of cricket, but when he speaks of playing cricket, he means something even greater than the game itself. He is exemplifying the spirit that stands for British sportsmanship. And British sportsmanship, whether in the motherland, in Australia, or elsewhere, is, I think, the greatest of all. How can cricket have anything but a brilliant future when this is the spirit it represents? Cheerio, everybody.
Racing in the stakes, and as they swing for home, it's Farlap taking over to lead well from Hallmark, Night March and Peter Pan. Here's Carbine finishing as straight as a gun barrel from Windbag, but inside the distance, Farlap in front, Hallmark and Night March coming at him, and look at Peter Pan flashing home, so is Carbine and Windbag, but Farlap is weakening under pressure. The Red Terror's gone, Carbine comes at him, and Carbine finishing better than Farlap. It's close. In a photo, Carbine first, Farlap second, Hallmark third, then Night March, Peter Pan, and Windbag is last of all. They're racing in the Cup, and Karaoke flattened out for the run of the judge, clear of Burnborough, Hydrogen, Delta, then a gap to Shannon and Del Rey. But inside the distance, challengers coming at Karaoke by Burnborough, Hydrogen. Further out is Delta, and now Shannon and Del Rey are rattling home wide out in the centre. Both Karaoke and Burnborough under the whip close to the line, and Hydrogen's the big danger. The little black coming at them reaches the lead, and Hydrogen came away over the last bit to win by a length from Karaoke. Third Burnborough. They're followed by Delta, and a long gap to Shannon with Del Rey last of all.
After my visits to Germany, I realized vividly how Herr Hitler feels that he must champion other Germans. He told me privately, and last night he repeated publicly, that after the Sudeten-German question is settled, that is the end of Germany's territorial claims in Europe. I am speaking to you from the cabinet room at 10 Downing Street. This morning, the British ambassador in Berlin handed the German government a final note stating that unless we heard from them by 11 o'clock, that they were prepared at once to withdraw their troops from Poland, a state of war would exist between us. I have to tell you now that no such undertaking has been received, and that consequently this country is at war with Germany.
Prime Minister of Australia, the Right Honourable R.G. Menzies.
Fellow Australians, it is my melancholy duty to inform you officially that in consequence of a persistence by Germany in her invasion of Poland, Great Britain has declared war upon her, and that as a result, Australia is also at war. No harder task can fall to the lot of a democratic leader than to make such an announcement.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. It will be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory. I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
It is our privilege tonight to introduce the Prime Minister, the Honorable John Curtin. Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister. Men and women of Australia, we are at war with Japan. That has happened because in the first instance, Japanese naval and air forces launched an unprovoked attack on British and United States territory. Because our vital interests are imperiled, and because the rights of free people in the whole Pacific are assailed. As a result, the Australian government this afternoon took the necessary steps which will mean that a state of war exists between Australia and Japan. We Australians have imperishable traditions. We shall maintain them. We shall vindicate them. We shall hold this country and keep it as a citadel for the British-speaking race and as a place where civilization will persist. Men and women of the Commonwealth of Australia, it is my solemn duty tonight to sound a tocsin. I proclaim a call unto you. I do it in the words of Swinburne. Come forth, be born and live, thou that hast help to give, and light to make man's day of manhood fair. With flight outflying the sphered sun, hasten thine hour, and halt not till thy work be done. God bless you all.
People of Western Europe. A landing was made this morning on the coast of France by troops of the Allied Expeditionary Force. This landing is part of the concerted United Nations plan for the liberation of Europe, made in conjunction with our great Russian allies.
The German war is at an end. We may allow ourselves a brief period of rejoicing. But let us not forget for a moment the toils and efforts that lie ahead. Japan, with all her treachery and greed, remains unsubdued. The injuries she has inflicted upon Great Britain, the United States, and other countries, and her detestable cruelties call for justice and retribution.
The world will note that the first atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima, a military base. We won the race of discovery against the Germans. We have used it in order to shorten the agony of war, in order to save the lives of thousands and thousands of young Americans. We shall continue to use it until we completely destroy Japan's power to make war.
Representatives of the major warring powers to conclude a solemn agreement whereby peace may be restored. The issue involving divergent ideals and ideologies have been determined on the battlefields of the world, and hence are not for our discussion or debate. Nor is it for us here to meet, representing, as we do, a majority of the peoples of the earth in a spirit of distrust, malice, or hatred. As Supreme Commander for the Allied powers, I announce it my firm purpose, in the tradition of the countries I represent, to proceed in the discharge of my responsibilities with justice and tolerance, while taking all necessary dispositions to ensure that the terms of surrender are fully, promptly, and faithfully complied with.